Okay, we're live now. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everyone. It's 6 a.m., 29th of August, 2025. We're coming
And
from
this
you
was,
live. Me in Florida, Dr. Kiltz.
I'm in Skinny Atlas.
I'm in Colombia as per usual.
And
And
Stacy is in
South Australia.
South Australia. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
All over
And
the world.
another beautiful day of connecting with beautiful human beings around the globe to share stories of healing, health, wellness, and a reproductive life.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Well, it is our pleasure and to have you here and share your story. And this is what I'm learning is the most important thing for healing all of us. We've got to have stories to tell, and science is sort of put us in a ditch, and we need to come back to our ancient spiritual roots, which are storytelling and honoring the
Yeah.
gods everywhere within us. and
Yep.
and um, and there's a natural healing process that we've sort of been marketed to misery, I think. And I think Australia is no different than in America in the 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 the, the grass and grain, the food companies and the pharmacy companies and the physician companies are all in cahoots, keep us weak, meek, and sick, I think. That
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
sense. Maybe you could just share us a little bit about yourself, Stacy, and why you think it's important to be here and share your story.
Yeah. Well, I'm only just starting to share my story recently. I think I've kept quiet for a long time about my health journey, but having another pregnancy really and having my health change for the first time quite drastically through that pregnancy is what nudged me closer to wanting to share my story, because ultimately I think that's how we are all going to help each other, just inspire one another and encourage one another. And like you say, our stories are really what makes the world go round. That's how we all learn and grow and evolve. And so yeah, when my health had some big shifts through my pregnancy, so I just was so grateful to find carnivore. And a lot of people say carnivore finds you when you're ready. I've found myself just wondering why I hadn't found it sooner, but it is what it is. I wish I had found it sooner, but that's okay. But we're all got our own journey, don't we?
Always happens when it's supposed to.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Yep, I feel this little soul came to us, and she brought this journey with her and brought it to us, because it's really changed our whole family as well.
Well, tell us some of the things you experienced in your life that we might label as suffering, and how you found the strength and weaved into a carnivore lifestyle.
Mm. Did you say suffering? The things that caused me suffering?
Yeah, what type of suffering, or a physical life
Yeah,
ailments might you have suffered from a non-carnivore lifestyle that you think the
yeah,
carnivore lifestyle has really helped and changed?
yeah. Well, 15 years ago, so when I had my middle child, that's when I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's thyroiditis. And that would have been rock bottom for me, where my health hit its real lowest of lowest then. And I was also in a emotionally abusive relationship at that time. So everything just plummeted for me. And yeah, the doctor that I saw at the time, I had some lumps behind my ear, which I wanted to have checked out. It turned out that actually wasn't anything, but the sonographer checked my thyroid at the same time, and she noticed that it was really enlarged, and she said you should have some blood tests done. So I had my blood test done, and my thyroid antibody levels were off the charts. They were 1,500, and my TSH was 80, and a functional range is anywhere between 1 and 3. So she just said to me, "I don't know how you're not in hospital. So you've really you're going to be on medication for the rest of your life now." She also said I had a 80% chance of being insulin dependent as well. So I was in major metabolic stress, and in a relationship I had to get myself out of fast. So that was I hadn't really thought about. I thought I was a healthy person up until that point, eating meat and vegetables and fruits and grains and all that. But I was really just a ticking bomb. So the next 15 years from then until present day, I started to become quite the health nut. I delved into paleo and keto and all those things. And I did make some big shifts with my health, but nothing that really, really moved the needle until I went carnivore. That was when things really shifted for me. My antibodies, I could never get them out of the hundreds. They were still raised. And yeah, so I went carnivore in the first trimester of my pregnancy last year. So it's nearly been just over a year now. And I found carnivore because I went and saw a psychic actually when I first fell pregnant.
Oh, wow.
So it was interesting. I saw this psychic and she said to me, "You need to eat a lot more meat. Your survival now is actually going to depend upon it." And she mentioned the word carnivore, and it was one of those moments when it just hits you and you know it's a truth and you know you have to follow it. And so I walked away from there and just started eating a lot more meat, and then started delving into this whole community out there, listening to Anthony Chafee and yourself, Dr. Kiltz, and Sean Baker, Paul Mason, everyone. I just couldn't get enough. The first trimester was difficult because I did have a lot of morning sickness though, so I found that a challenge. But by the second trimester, it was a lot easier. But the cravings and the nausea was pretty intense, and I had quite an aversion to beef. So I don't know if that. I've heard various theories about that. I'm not sure if it's just why you would be averse to something that your body actually really needs. So that's a question that I would ask you, Dr. Kiltz.
What was your diet when you started your pregnancy?
I was paleo.
So that means you ate plants, correct?
Yeah, definitely.
I think nausea and vomiting in the first trimester is your body saying, do not eat that. Don't eat anything, because you don't need to eat anything. We reproductively, we must be fat enough to get to be fertile and pregnant. And that is the fuel and building blocks for your baby, not the food you eat. And so what the body is doing is protecting you from the plant poisons. And it says don't eat.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're hyperphagic. Yeah. That's why we're hyperphagic and in our before pregnancy, and that's why enough body fat is critical, because adipose tissue is the most important organ system of your body. And we have shamed obesity and fat, and we fed our brothers and sisters, our future moms, a poisonous diet, which it is your body is smart. Nausea, vomiting is do not eat that first trimester,
Mm. Mm.
and a plant-based diet.
Yeah. What
ultimately-
about
Go ahead.
yeah, just like I would actually feel nauseous eating beef as well.
Well, because it's basically you get fat and you're fertile. Now, when we use the word fat, it all is like, what's too much body fat? And that's one of our problems. We've extended it to be, this number that ultimately is probably wrong anyway. But the body knows the deadly diet you've probably been eating for thousands of years and has developed a sense of fertile, and you're resting in the cave. You're nesting, you're hibernating, you're gestating. And we probably did a lot more of that.
Yeah.
And think about the animal, the food you eat: chicken, fish, turkey, lean meat. Few people are eating fatty raw meat. What if you're just chewing on the fat? Chewing on the fat, almost like gum. And as you chew the fat, you're getting the nutrients from the fat, but nobody eats fat. So your body is, it's protected.
Well, most people.
Most people. But what we're teaching our brothers and sisters for our future children is that eating the fat is most fit and fantastic. And so even taking frozen butter and chopping up in a cube, but again, nausea, vomiting says, don't put that in this mouth. You'll poison your baby. And you're feeding the microbes, which ultimately also are making us sick, because the microbiome just wants to make you fertilizer. They're not our friends. They're our enemies.
Yeah.
Counter to the story, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
it's interesting.
Even fasting in the first trimester is one of the best things you can do.
Oh, really?
And yep. And think about it, you were nesting, hibernating, you were resting the body to lower the metabolic rate, providing the only nutrients for your baby or for every cell of your body is adipose tissue, not your muscles, not any other organ system. It's the fat made in the liver and deposited as adipose tissue. And again, our unnatural attempt to be skinny is not in our favor. And 3 to 6 meals a day is also not natural for a human being.
Yeah.
If you think about it, right?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's not.
And
Yep.
grass and grains and cereals. I mean, ultimately, we were controlled by the cereal kings, the kings around the globe that figured out how to control the masses with beer and bread, cereals. If you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your pregnancy, how a little bit about first trimester and then beyond.
Yeah. Yep. When the first trimester, I actually had, I had some heart palpitations. It was probably midway through the first trimester. And my partner, he ended up getting, he was given some wild deer, and the heart, the organ meat, and he brought some wild deer heart home, and we cooked that up and ate it for dinner. And it was literally within a few minutes of eating that deer heart that my palpitations went away. It's amazing. I felt like that was meant to happen. We were meant to eat that. And there was something in that heart that really gave my body what it needed. And I just felt like really grounded and really stabilized, and my heart went into a normal rhythm, and I didn't have any more issue, didn't have that again. So I found that
How
very interesting.
how do you make the heart? Was it you that made it?
That cooked it,
Yeah, how did you cook it?
you just sliced it up and fried it in the pan in a bit of tallow
Okay.
and salt. Very simple. Yeah,
I
just
have a
thinly
5 pound
sliced it.
I have a 5 pound heart in the freezer.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot more gamey to taste than beef heart. Beef heart I find easier to eat. Um, but anyway, yeah, so the first trimester was a bit of a challenge, and I was anemic as well by the end of the first trimester. So by the second trimester, I really did kick into the carnivore way a lot more, and I was eating liver. I did because I was anemic, so I really needed to get my iron levels up. I had liver and beef spleen, and that really got my iron levels back to normal again. And I went off all antenatal vitamins because I just didn't need them. My B vitamins stabilized, my iron stabilized. Yeah, folate levels, everything was really good. And that was purely just from eating lamb, beef, eggs, lots of eggs. And I did consume liver and spleen. I'm not eating that now because I don't think my body has the demand for that, but it really did during the pregnancy. And by the second trimester, the nausea had pretty much, most of the nausea had gone away. So I was feeling like eating a lot more. My appetite increased, and I really felt quite good. And yeah, my antibody levels, that was the massive change actually. So I was testing my thyroid antibody levels throughout the pregnancy, and they just got lower and lower and lower, and they're at their lowest now. They're below 9. I'd never ever got them down that low before. So inflammation just it cut out all inflammation.
So you went from the paleo diet, and when you use the word paleo or carnivore or keto, exactly what were you eating? Could you share that, like pre-pregnancy and then early pregnancy, mid and late pregnancy, and then post-pregnancy?
Yep. So pre-pregnancy, I was definitely eating the pseudo grains. I was gluten free, very strictly gluten free and dairy free,
Well,
but I
well,
was
well,
consuming brown rice.
right. So when we use gluten-free or dairy or whatever it is, but that's not what we're eating. That's what we're not eating. But I guess you so brown rice. What else?
Oh, sorry, it was just a little bit slow there.
Oh, brown.
What things were you eating?
Pre-pregnancy.
Yes.
Yeah, so pre-pregnancy, I was eating meat. I've always eaten meat. I've never been off meat, but it would be like meat 3 times a week, that kind of thing. And consumed a lot of grains, but gluten-free grains, so brown rice and buckwheat. Had a lot of that. And fruit, even oats, oatmeal for breakfast with banana, nut butters, almond butters, those kinds of things that I considered were healthy. And dinner would be bolognese, that kind of thing.
things we were
I
brainwashed.
did have a lot of
to believe.
chicken as well, pre-pregnancy.
So things
Yeah,
we were
absolutely. Brainwashed.
believe were healthy, right? Brainwashed to believe. And when this is
Yeah.
the term gluten free is the biggest misnomer
Mhm.
because there are multiple antigens in all plant products that are as deadly as gluten. And maybe that's the
Yeah.
part that we're not taught, but it's brainwashed to believe it in all of this. Let's see, Maria Christia Maget, I think her name is Tismini. Oh, cool. Buongiorno. Cool. Can't understand. So lots of people from all around the globe in different languages. What a beautiful thing. I've got Instagram here also, by the way.
Mhm.
And so ultimately, and maybe this is where the paleo pit comes in. It's sort of a sinkhole of thinking that paleo is really okay because and when you eat chicken, what meat did you eat and how did you cook your meat?
So curries, a lot of spices, curries and bologneses, lots of sauces, that kind of thing. We would occasionally have barbecues and steaks, but sausages, which have a lot of flour in them and preservatives and sugars and things like that as well, where there's hidden ingredients. But yeah, we were really big on having a lot of. We get so used to having condiments, so sauces, and drowning the meat in lots of sauces and marinades that are just full of sugar as well.
And plant
So yeah, I
poison.
did have meat, but it was never just meat on its own. Yeah, and
Yeah.
plant poisons. Yep, that's
Poison,
right.
poisoned by
So
plants. Yeah. Yeah.
yep. Yeah, and interestingly enough, I'm actually currently studying naturopathy, and it's all about plant medicine. I've considered giving up so many times, but I still really want to be able to help people with their health, so I'm going to continue on studying. But the things that you're taught at university really, a lot of it doesn't make much sense.
Well, is there a simplicity? I mean, obviously, no matter what environment you're breathing, drinking, eating uh, uh, bugs, bacteria, yeast, viruses, and plant antigens and chemicals, and they're everywhere. We can't get away from them. Even as a carnivore, they're in our environment because we are in the world of plants and microbes and all sorts of other live organisms and products of those live organisms that are very antigenic and so you can't
Yeah,
get away from them completely and that's part of our problem, right?
yeah, it sure is. We can't.
and
Yeah, we
and
can only
and
do the
this
best
new
we can.
yeah I went to Health and Human Services to meet with Dr. Dorothy Fink. And I think all of us need to be sending our messages to the government, at least in America, Australia, wherever you live in this world. But it's your story. Is that your story saved you from another story of a human being that's shared on social media, which is new collective community of changing lives more so than any scientific journal has and will ever do. And I went there to share my story. And, it's kind of like, well, why am I here? Only to share my story. Governments will not change the world. The communities that are making the changes through these connections around the globe are it. And the more we share this publish it, put it out there, and say, wait a minute, what do you mean that a plant-based diet is good for us when heroin, cocaine, marijuana, nicotine, caffeine all come from plants? And how is it that meat causes cancer? And
That's right. It's interesting that one is still getting around, that meat causes cancer.
Well, that's the simple propaganda. So we can't blame, but we must speak out on our truth. So there's all these camps of paleo, keto, carnivore, vegan, vegetarian, Mediterranean, herbivore, omnivore, carnivore. We have all this collective concepts of word games, but ultimately we are lions that have been domesticated and become cats and dogs. Lions and wolves fed plants and cooked meat, lean meat, become cats and dogs, which are domesticated animals. And human beings are the greatest domesticated animal around the globe. Peasants, prisoners, slaves, and soldiers, we have become, which is kind of crazy. And what better thing to carry and bring life to this world? And as a fertility doctor, the most important thing for all of us is still reproduction.
It sure is.
And Julio with the G is my grandson, who's about almost 7 months, and still the most valuable thing. Dr. Nelson and Ali and all of us, right? There are children, and their children are the most important thing. So are we working for the profits or really the people that we want to help heal in this world, which is our future? And we need to begin to share the words in a change, and the change is only happening individually within us. And that's the critical part to this. What's your why, Dr. Nelson?
Definitely my family. Definitely my family. My grandson is going to be 2 years old now in September.
Wow.
And by the way, about those studies that show, cancer association, sometimes for some reason, some of them are misinterpreted, not on purpose, of course. But I have an article that came out just a few weeks ago reviewing some old data from 88 to 94, and there was an inverse association between cancer mortality and the consumption of animal protein, meat. The higher amounts actually cause less cancer.
And
who would have thought from a study that had concluded the opposite, by the way?
Alpha gal, who is she? Is she another propaganda-based study idea that puts a meme within our brains that makes us believe something that isn't true? It isn't true. Just saying. And Stacy, who is the alpha gal? I think Dr. Nelson needs to do another video on this one.
Who is that?
Alpha gal is the name of something given to by a tick. And
it's a claim. It's a claim of a development of an allergy to red meat, which essentially is caused by a tick bite, and which sensitizes us to the alpha galactose glycan that is commonly found in red meat, but it's also found in other things, which we developed just like you developed thyroid antibodies, right?
Mm.
And so I guess the question is,
Where
go ahead.
where did this information come from?
Well, there have been incidences of this alpha gal. There's about 500,000 cases in the United States. Don't have statistics from other places. 500,000 in a place where the population is 340, 350. It's a very, very small number.
How exact is science in the world, and is there a purpose to the science? Sometimes is there a message that meat is bad for us, and we should minimize meat and maximize plants?
Well, if you eat too much meat, you're going to die. You're going to have cancer. You're going to have inflammation. It's funny. You mentioned, it's not funny, but you are telling me that your antibody levels against your thyroid, your TPO antibodies, went down with your diet. Yet we are told that it is inflammatory.
So I guess the question is back to, so how do you make charcoal? You burn wood in a certain environment, and you change the characteristics of the wood. You change the molecular structure of the wood. So now, could you build a home out of charcoal?
You could. It's going to be probably not the best
It'll be
quality.
Weak. It'll be weak and poor quality. So so back to cooking your food changes the molecular structure of the food and likely makes it nutritionally, metabolically, biologically, biochemically less valuable for us, more harmful for us. And this is where, going back to Pottinger's cats and the story of raw meat versus cooked meat and pasteurized milk versus raw milk, is that in our ancient environment, we were hunters and scavengers. Maybe not hunters and gatherers, we were hunters and scavengers for the raw fatty meat, bone marrow, and organ meats. And naturally, there's little to no poisons in that product. And this is where, if you build it with coal, it will not be strong. But if you build it with strong wood and raw fatty meat, you might be healthier than you even know. But we're afraid of that, are we not? Why?
Yeah. Conditioning.
Are there like a propaganda positioning to sell products? Even
Money, for sure.
Money, the master mission of so many of us. And again, we're not, this is basically, money is a mind game, in my opinion. And this is where The Secret comes in, Rhonda Byrne's work. But it's ancient human, spiritual, and ancestral knowledge, which is having faith in God and the spirits of life which in all things, and we are part of that. And I'm wondering, Stacey, any other things that you utilize besides dietary habits in your life? grounding or sunlight therapy or meditation, prayer, or spirituality?
Yeah, of course, of course. All of the above. All of the above. Yeah, I'm very spiritual, and I think it's essential. You know, we have to. It's good to really be able to tap into the collective, you know, oneness that we all are part of, and without doubt, because we're all so connected to everything in the universe, it's so important that we get sunlight. I can't underestimate the power of the sun. It's an instant recharge for me. If I feel fatigued, go out in the sun, within a few minutes, my solar batteries are charged up. So I did sunbake very regularly throughout the pregnancy. I was always out in the backyard sunbaking. That plays a massive part, and grounding. And we live near the beach here, so it was warm through my pregnancy, so I was in the water as much as I could get in there, floating around. Beautiful, especially when I got heavier towards the end.
And ultimately, if you think about it, the sun and the energy molecular power of the sun is why anything exists on Earth. And so we've sort of hidden ourselves from the sun, and we've put all these products on to protect us from the sun. Now, obviously,
Yeah.
There's reasons not to be out in the sun all the time at noon in Phoenix, Arizona on August 1st. But
August 1st, you're gonna be in Phoenix, Arizona?
but
Oh, that was
ultimately,
last month.
ultimately we're sharing ideas that are you said oneness, and there's a global connection here for all of us, and to share ideas that are like game changing. And we don't need another study or data. We just need more stories. And that's the whole part of Kiltz Mighty Tribe and our morning meetups. And I'm grateful to Ali and Dr. Nelson for helping spearhead the message around the globe.
Here we go. Dr. Kiltz, we've got some questions, but I wanted to read this first from Jerry Carnivore in the middle of a forest. Dr. Kiltz is such a great class for us yesterday. It brought tears to my eyes. Thank you again, Kiltzy. Fabulous KMD Carnivore class. Strongly encourage many of you to do the upcoming. Thank you. Thank you. The upcoming is October 1st. We're starting October 1st. We're doing enrollment right now, and I put a link in the chat. It's actually pinned to sign up for that course.
And our job is to empower all humans with, they are the healthcare professional. They're in charge of their lives and their healthcare, and empowering them with being their own life coach. And like we're children than parents, all of us begin as a student and then lead and leave as a teacher. And the idea for all of us is to manifest that we're creating the very best food and fertilizer for our future. And our future is our children. And whether they're genetically or reproduced out of us directly, but we're all related. And if you look at all of us are related. Our DNA is essentially identical. And I'm getting so many thank yous and connections from all around the world, and all of us. That's the beauty, right? That's the KMT, Kiltz Mighty Tribe. And again, there's so many other tribes, and we're all coming together and sharing crazy ideas. And part of the part of my message, and Dr. Nelson put together a video, which is really rocking and rolling, right? But we got to get it in my voice. That we got to put that together in my voice. but I love it. I love it. I love it. And we got to get it in Nelson's and all of our voices. Really, we're, you know, if you look at one of the early Coca-Cola commercials, right, where it suddenly expands into, so ultimately, you know, we've been brainwashed through Coke, cane, and more, but I think Christ-like philosophy, and whether it's Moses, Muhammad, Abraham, Jesus, Lao Tse, Buddha, Stacy, Ali, and Dr. Nelson, Rick, Kat, but again, we're all part of this massive story, infinite, to shine like our sun shines. And be afraid, Stacy, right? You said you had a little bit of nervousness to be here, which is natural for all of us, right? Be afraid and do it anyway.
Yeah. That's it. Lean into it.
Lean into it, right?
We have a few questions, Dr. Kiltz.
Yeah. Let's see here. Cam's dad, Doc, do you think the heart worked for the pregnancy, talking about Stacy's pregnancy, because of the vitamins in the heart? She talked about eating heart.
You think, well, again, whatever we theorize why, but ultimately, you know, the heart is really the soul of life. And was it mindset or was it meat set? Don't know the answer. But ultimately, I think the organs are important for us to eat. The fat's important to eat, and whether there was a mineral, vitamin, or the fat in the heart. Remember, there's a lot of fat in the heart that is anti-inflammatory. So, you know, we're looking for the why, but ultimately, without knowing why or how, because we theorize all of it, it doesn't really matter, does it? And I always question vitamins. Do you think that the same propaganda was created in vitamins as was created in much of science to sell us something? I don't know.
The
Good
amount of
question.
money I used to spend on supplements, crazy. And now I don't take any of them anymore.
We produce an organ meat supplement, liver supplement, for those that don't wish to consume the organs themselves. I believe that it's part of how we hunted, we prepared and processed the animal for our consumption, and we ate the viscera, the organs, probably early and first, because that was the easiest to consume, because the muscle meat took a little bit more work. But I agree with you, Stace. It's sort of like, do we need them? Now, maybe the plant eaters need them more because there's more poisons and anti-nutrients in the plants. And I don't know any anti-nutrients in the meat, except the problem is too many people are eating lean meat and not eating fatty, rare to raw meat.
Yep.
That's a big problem.
Yep, definitely.
This is homeschooling. Go ahead, Stacey, say that.
Oh, I was just going to say I'm upping my fat content more and more now, especially post-pregnancy. I'm definitely more 70-30, really upped my fat content, and I noticed just a difference and a shift in energy with that. And also how that protects me from the sun as well. I don't burn because I feel like that fat protects my skin from burning.
plants are photosensitizing, meaning that when you eat a plant, it creates photosensitization, which causes all the skin diseases essentially. And that's
Yep.
the number one. The beauty of fatty meat is, in general, it doesn't contain photosensitizing molecules, particles, poisons.
Yeah.
That's what I think is the
Yeah.
biggest part of the story. Homeschooling.
Yeah.
Are we homeschooled in like, I mean, maybe this is what we need, more homeschooling or global schooling. Maybe there's something a little bit different, global schooling.
That's what we're doing right now.
Right. And we, communicating, and it's done at home. You don't have to go somewhere anymore, except to a meetup around the globe, right? Meetups, and create your own KMT meetup. Next question, Dr. Nelson.
Did they?
Go ahead,
Stacey, what are your
Stacey.
thoughts on coffee, or do you only drink water?
It's one of the most. I think that's one of the most asked questions in the carnivore community. The coffee question. Experimented with that one a lot. I actually stopped coffee during the pregnancy. I went off caffeine because I just didn't want to be consuming caffeine during my pregnancy. I know a lot of people still do, but that was just a choice that I made. And now I just drink decaf coffee. So I have one decaf coffee in the morning, and I make that with egg yolk and a big chunk of butter, and I just whiz it up. And that's my morning coffee, really. And water, of course, lots of water and electrolytes.
Do we drink too much water?
Well, I'm breastfeeding, so I do get pretty thirsty. Probably close to 2 liters a day I would drink of water. But
Yeah, I
I
don't know
do really need those extra fluids.
I don't know. Remember, our body makes water. Every acetyl-CoA that makes ATP also makes H2O and CO2, and every amino acid that's locked onto another amino acid in making proteins tosses a little water also. Again, I just really believe that we still drink too much water, and I don't know that we absolutely know our requirements for water. We know it's there, but much less than we've been led to believe. But again,
Yeah.
I too do water with electrolytes because I enjoy them, and I do a little bit of decaf coffee now sometimes, but I'm not attached to it. I can go days, weeks. I've even went 2.5 years without it. But again, we do many things in our lives that are far more dangerous than a cup of coffee, like driving a car, flying airplanes, walking across streets, and living with another human being. Nellie, be careful.
Yeah.
Sean Chef is asking, Dr. Osborne says there's actually gluten in rice. Is it just a different form than wheat, barley, or rye?
All plants contain glycoproteins, which are antigenic, and gluten is just one of many antigenic glycoproteins. And there are many gluten-like substances that we've been basically lied to, that we say gluten-free, but ultimately now we're eating other plant antigens, chemicals, and fiber, and then also the sugars that feed the microbes and make alcohol in our bellies. So yeah, I think that likely there are other gluten and or gluten-like substances. So it's just wrong. Dr. Nelson, do you have any other thoughts on that?
No, there's no gluten in rice, but there is lectins and phytates and other things. So each plant will have different ones. I put a list of some of those things in the chat.
I want to do a 10-day fast. Can you help me with advice, Dr. Nelson, the king of fasting?
The fasting king.
Is someone asking or are you
Yeah,
asking?
this is Stephanie Coffer on Instagram. We're going to be doing a 5-day fast in October. You could take it wherever you want, but we're doing a 2 to 3. I'm going to say 2 to 3 weeks. I'm going to do 14 days. Dr. Nelson might do 22 plus days. Don't know. You call it for yourself.
I'm going to be fasting today until I decide to eat a ribeye steak.
And I believe 1 meal a day or less is the best for humans. We've been lied to by eating 3 meals a day. You're stuffing your gut, your GI tract with more food than that it can handle in normal digestion. And that creates a lot of inflammation and helps the microbes grow. And microbes are very inflammatory and deadly for us.
All right. We still have a couple
What are
of
your
questions.
thoughts on the priming?
I don't think priming is required.
Sorry.
I think that basically, there's a lot of just propaganda. I mean, if you come across a ripe fruit tree, your job is to eat as much as you can. And that's why we have hyperphagia and sweetness we love, because the brain says get fat. And the same thing goes with the big animal that you come across. Eat as much as you can, because you're not likely going to get food for the next days, weeks. And so I think that that this idea of priming is not required. We are not under nutrient. We are plant poisoned and protein poisoned in a low fat environment of our food. Most carnivores, paleovores, ketovores, they either eat too lean a meat and or they cook their meat in a way that the fat is rendered and gone. And I don't think it's required, but again, in a group setting, we're all working for ways to help us and inspire us to stay in the journey. And we have all these little ideas that may kind of help us find it. I'm going to be fasting the next 5 days. I want to do as much food today as I can. And I think that's just a natural habit to when you come across, and that's why we're all getting fat and sick. The fatness isn't the cause of disease, but we're in an environment of the fall, spring and fall, or the summer, late summer and fall. There's a ton of food. Your brain says you better eat this because winter's coming, and if you don't, you're dead.
We got a few more questions.
Did you show the pictures, Alia?
Let's show them. So this is 15 years ago with baby.
Beautiful.
Is that baby number 2? Baby
Beautiful.
number 1 or 2? Beautiful. Oh, this is baby
Beautiful.
number 1. This is
Beautiful.
baby number 2.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And this is baby number 3, carnivore pregnancy.
And beautiful.
And beautiful. And of your pregnancies, that was the easiest, right? The carnivore
Yes.
pregnancy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, I had a
Because-
home birth with that one. She was born at home in just a 2-hour labor.
Wow. Wow.
Awesome. Next question.
Yeah.
Olivia has a question.
Morning.
Does urine come from blood or from excessive water we drink? Just read something about it. I don't have the answer.
Well, urine. So the water part and the urine, and it comes with other molecules, is just the natural part of excreting our toxins, and the excess water we drink certainly is going to be excreted. The water that we create is also released through even the breath. There's going to be some water there, and our urine, that's just natural and normal. It's both. And again, every cell makes water via via acetyl-CoA to ATP, CO2, and H2O, and every amino acid that creates a protein, which essentially then will become post-translationally modified, which yes, it makes water, which will be excreted.
Okay. Sharon McCabe asks, what is antigenic? What does that mean?
Antigenicity means it's an allergenic substance. It creates allergies, which was redness, swelling, pain, heat, dysfunction of the cell, death of the cell, and or dysfunction and death of the organ system or the organism. So it's any particle that elicits an allergy. There is no such thing as autoimmune diseases. We develop allergic reactions to the substances we breathe, drink, and eat, and then get into our bodies. And our immune system is just saying, I've got to protect you from this foreign particle that is caused. Most of it is secondary to the glycocalyx, or the sugar layer that lines every membrane of our body and every other organism's body, and that creates an allergy.
Makes sense. Mr. Cast Iron would like to know, are tests like A1C, fasted insulin, C, peptide, and such necessary?
They're not, nothing's necessary. Not necessary.
Not necessary.
Not necessary. Urine, the contents of urine may contain waste products, by the way, but urine is just natural and normal product. It's just like poop. Your body's excreting, and that's the nature of it. You breathe it out, you poop it out, you piss it out, and you maybe even through perspiration
Sweat it out.
You sweat it out. But urine, just try drinking urine as your fluids. It could contain toxins and poisons and microbes that may be harmful for us. So it contains waste products and poisons, but in essence, it's just a normal product of human physiology, metabolism, and biology.
All right.
Where can we find you, Stacy?
Just by email at the moment. I'm still studying, so email is fine. You can do you want me to pop my email in the chat box, or you're able to do that, Ali?
If you
Sure,
want
I
to.
can, yeah, if people want to reach out to you, sure, I can do that. Let me get that.
Yeah.
I agree with Jay Bud. Urine is liquid gold, by the way. Again, but try drinking it all the time.
Put it through your reverse osmosis machine first.
I used to work in the villages in Florida, and I had a patient that told me that there is nothing golden about the golden years except your urine.
Hit the button, Alia.
All right, we're doing babies for babies today. So we're talking about babies.
Button.
Here's the
Awesome.
button.
And I appreciate everyone's comments, by the way. And again, we're all here to have a great conversation.
Dr. Kiltz, you won a Babies for Babies book.
Okay.
So who gets it in
hold
the
on,
tribe?
Hold on. I got to find a KMT. Sarah Martin, SARAH Martin on KMT is the winner.
Yay!
Sarah Martin on KMT. So if you just hunt down Sarah Martin and Sarah Martin, send Alia at drkiltz.com, you become the new winner of Babies for Babies.
That's right.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
And
Good job.
share the stories we share. We're often afraid, we're nervous, we're fearful, but ultimately the sharing the story as you begin, it's kind of like riding a bike. When I was in DC, there was in the park, they were teaching adults how to ride bikes. And so like anything else, we or walking, right? We wobble at first, then you develop a little bit more muscle and nerve memory, and then your body becomes easy at doing it. So I think the critical part here is Dr. Nelson, Alia, Stacy, and everyone here on all these platforms is even though you're afraid, do it anyway.
There you go. I love that. True.
And we'd love everyone to be
Sure.
on our conversations and come with us, and we're making changes. But being on live or in a carnivore conversations is important, because sharing these stories are the only way we're going to heal our brothers and sisters. And Stacy, your story is radically important, because there's nothing more important than reproduction. And I just read an article about $1 billion settlement for a delivery of a baby, which was not done properly. But when you go carnivore, nature takes over, and you don't need the $1 billion healthcare system or $1 trillion healthcare system that really is failing all of us around the globe.
That's right.
It sure
I
is.
just want to let everyone know we're still going to be live Monday morning, even if it's Labor Day. We'll be here for you to start your day.
Day of labor, right? Go to work, get up every day, because if you're not hunting and gathering, I mean, 50,000 years ago, let's take a week off and go on vacation, Dr. Nelson, because someone's going to feed us somewhere, right? We're going to show up for the feed, and they're going to feed on us.
By the way, what are you doing today, Dr. Kiltz?
Let's see. 3C Japa with Jeff, the beef slinger, the chief beef slinger, and we're cooking, and we're sharing stories on cooking meat, and also where your meat comes from. And I'm excited about that. And you are flying up today, right?
We should have
Don't
planned that
tempt me.
before.
Don't tempt me. I'm going to the airport right now.
And then I will be tomorrow in Kalamazoo, Michigan, with Robin Heron, Carnivorous Grandma, and Tony Hampton, and the Browns, and so many more people, in sharing the stories of being lions instead of lining up like sheep.
Exactly. All right. Well, right after this,
Wait a minute. What's
Mitch's-
happening right now? It's 7:00.
it's Mitch's live stream. You guys need to all go over there.
Yes, we're all part of Mitch's live stream, and we're so excited to be part of the listen. And if we can imagine, we're passing the baton 24/7, 365 to another live group around the globe, and so I think that's where we start. Let's link up to all the lives going on in the world, and we're just a 24/7. The KMT group is part of linking a 24/7, 365 around the globe, because this is global school, and it's home wherever you're at.
Exactly.
And
All right.
and Stacy, we love you. Thank you. Gratitude. Carnivore Conversations. I look forward to it, and more.
Exactly.
Organize
Okay,
it,
bye.
Louis. Bye-bye. Have a good day.
Thank
All
you
right,
for having
good
me
day,
on,
all.
guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.